Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company. If it's been 3.5 hours since you last ate protein and now you're starting to freak out, you are old school. If watching someone sit on a hammer machine for 5 minutes between sets playing with their phone pisses you off, you are definitely old school. OSBBC.com for the hardest training athletes.
You're funny.
Like I said, do you like my tail?
Like I said.
Welcome back to an exciting episode of Iron Rage. Actually, I'm not sure it's going to be too exciting. It definitely will be controversial, probably, and offensive to some people, but I don't know if it'll be exciting. Lee,
what sort of fucking?
I got a question.
What sort of fucking starts that, you cunt? Jesus Christ.
I have a question for you because you are part of a generation now of people who are obsessed with walking. And I know people have the Apple Watches, they got the phones, and everyone wants to track their steps lately. And it's, I'm going to do a little raging because it is Iron Rage. To be honest, I'm a little, do people really need another obsession? Now they have to worry about how many steps they get in, every day.
No, I think I've looked at the one on my phone probably 3 times my whole life.
Really?
The only reason I checked it was because Tyler, you just said Tyler has it, and I remember it's on there. And
Tyler's got to close his rings every day, on the Apple Watch. And unless you have an Apple Watch, you don't even know what that means, probably,
Before we come on, I was just saying how I dropped the car off the other day, and I thought I'll walk halfway home and get an Uber. But then I said in my mind, Lee, you can do it. If you don't go the whole distance, you're a loser. So I walked just over 13 Ks, which is like 10 miles in 2 hours 45, and
holy shit.
It wasn't. My feet were hurting towards the end, but the main thing is, it's like in my mind of how far I thought it was up this hill down there. Oh yeah, right. and then reality, it's up this hill, and oh fuck, I forgot about that kilometer. I forgot about that part there. I was like, in my mind, my trip was this long. In reality, it was fucking this long.
How many steps did you get that day? That's a question.
It was close to 25,000 something.
Wow. That's a lot of steps. That's more than my wife gets. My wife gets a lot of steps.
You got to remember, I'm like a little chihuahua too, so I was like...
What I wonder is, and maybe Tyler can answer this question, is do they track it by your arm swing, or is it tracked by your leg swing? How do they know if you're taking a step? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I think the Fitbits could have been armed, because I had a friend and his wife had one, and all the girlfriends had one, so it's like a contest.
Yeah.
And we used to go for dinner sometimes, and she would sit there while eating, swinging her arm.
Oh, no way. Really? You cheat that way.
They get the steps up.
No, because you can keep your phone in your pocket and it tracks your steps too. So I mean, It must be some swinging motion. It must be.
Have you ever thought about putting the iPhone watch on your dog's leg?
Yeah, there you go. You can really cheat that way, right?
just have it right
For some reason, I thought you were going to ask and say, did you ever think about putting the iPhone on your penis? I don't know why I thought you were going to say that, because that's usually what comes out of your mouth.
I tried, but I'd have to get a bigger band. Hey, I said...
Oh, it does both. So the GPS does track your movement.
Oh, the GPS. So the government knows how many steps you took and where you walked.
So what if you're on a treadmill? Will you actually get credit for a treadmill?
It will go by the accelerometer.
Oh, okay. So it's got both.
And your heart rate.
Oh, it tracks by your heart rate too?
Of course.
Huh, interesting. All right.
So they know everything about you, how far you walk, what your beats are. So when they...
I got into my car today, and I had to go to the FedEx place and pick up something. And when I got in the car, it said 7 minutes to Crunch Fitness. And it was asking if it wanted to, because I go there every day. I usually work out that same time. So it knew that I was going to go to Crunch Fitness, but I really wasn't going to go to Crunch Fitness. But normally I would. So the Apple, and I never have to track. In other words, I never have to GPS Crunch. I know where it is. So it knows I'm going there, even though I never even put Crunch into the GPS ever.
Well, I always turn on, where it says like tracking only. I always only put activate when using app. type thing.
Me too. I do that too.
But every time I go like Coles here, that's like a supermarket, or Woolworths is a supermarket, or McDonald's. But even if I don't go there, if I just drive past, I get an email. McDonald's such and such, Coles has such and such on sale. In the emails,
Lee,
it's like
Lee, I
just passed it.
You're on the preferred McDonald's list. I'm sure McDonald's probably sends that out. They're like, Lee Priest tracking. Send them an email.
And because this is Iron Rage, I saw you mentioned that. Oh, yeah, that's right. You mentioned the penis thing. So I did send John and Jimmy the pictures, and they're like, oh my God.
You ruined their day, I'm sure. I'm sure you ruined their day. Actually, my good friend Susie Blaylock, who is a physician, a doctor, she's an anesthesiologist, she told me the reason why they have to get the blood out of there and why they were squeezing your penis so much to get the blood out was because if it clots in there, you can really, I guess there could be a lot of damage done there. You're lucky, she said. A lot of times, it doesn't work after that. I mean, you had a severe case of it.
I know. Well, that's what we're worried about. Yeah, but it started working fine. Well, once all the bandages come off and the bruising went away, and hey, for a while after that, I was fucking with a coffee can. It was so fucking pound.
I told people that it was like, that you ever go to the Bellagio and they have the music show and the music and the fountain spurts out according to the music. That was your penis, with the blood coming out of it, yeah.
To the blue dengue, he was fucking squeezing it. That's how it looked. It was wonderful. The amount of blood was just incredible. I like the thing you put up with Pinhead, though. That's pretty much a good description.
Yeah. I do have a question though for you. Or I want your comments. A couple of people had reached out to me, and I reached out to the Arnold Classic people because I'm friends with them, and I love what Arnold does. That show every year. It's a great show, but they haven't had women's physique or they haven't had women's bodybuilding for years, but they haven't had women's physique since 2020. Why do you think it is that they would get rid of women's physique? Because women's physique was the new division. It was took the place of women's bodybuilding. Well, Jake brought it back, obviously, which is great. But why would they remove women's physique from the Arnold Classic, which is like that's started out, it was bodybuilding. I mean, it's weird.
I actually got from good authority from the athlete's rep, Bob. I got from good authority that the men's physique competitors all put in complaints saying that the women look better than them and they want it taken away because it made them feel like little pussies. So they removed it just so they could feel their masculinity still. So that's why they removed it.
I don't believe it. Well, when I reached out to them, they said that there really wasn't there was no comment. There was no reason. They're not giving a reason. They just decided to remove it.
Well, that's stupid.
But they have pole dancing. Now they have face slapping. That face slapping competition. You would think that. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. I mean, that's fine. You want to have face slapping? That's great. It's fun. I like to watch it too. I like to watch people smack the shit out of each other. But why would you get rid of women's bodybuilding? It just doesn't make sense. I understand. All right, you don't have 212 there because you have the open class. At least you have bodybuilding there, right? But how could you not have something with posing in it for the women too? It doesn't make sense. People like that.
What would be their closest? They've only got fitness, bikini, figure,
wellness. I think they have now.
Wellness. Why wouldn't they have women's bodybuilding? It's like fucking hell. It's like remember they used to be the main staple back then.
Absolutely.
Wasn't it called the Miss International when Tonya Knight and all them won it?
Yeah.
It's always been there. It's
I think that the two most exciting divisions to watch in women's sport is the women's physique / women's bodybuilding. I put that together. Okay, because they do a really good job on their routines, and the fitness, because the fitness routines. Now the Arnold has always had the fitness. That's something that they always kept. Even when the division kind of was dwindling a little bit, because it's entertaining. But you would think that's why you'd want women's physique too, because it's entertaining. I'm not really sure why they don't want it.
It's a question for the athlete's rep to answer. He just maybe like the symmetry round. He just got rid of it because he didn't want it anymore. I got to ask something because I got a few things about
the funny thing is that Arnold made them bring back the posing round, right, for the men's bodybuilding and score it. So you would think that you'd want women's bodybuilding there too. That's entertainment.
I don't know. Someone's got a grudge against the women. Who knows? But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've been getting a few things too, and I know you brought it up at the end of the show where people were angry at John for saying Boston was a bad thing, and John should be on Iron Rage because he was raging that day when he fucking flew off the vent. But it's like Oh, by the way, too,
Oh,
I'm drinking.
stimulant. Oh, that's why you're in such a good mood. Do you notice that it's like an antidepressant almost for you? Do you feel like you're in a very good mood when you're taking the stimulus?
Look at me. I'm just a ball of fucking joy. I'm a ray of fucking sunshine in your eyes.
There you go.
I like it too because I don't get any crazy jittery type feeling. And I don't know about you, but I've never noticed like a bad come down from it. You don't.
It fades. It fades.
Yeah. So you don't even notice when. But what I was going to say was John going on. It's like, yes, if that's the case, then we're all guilty because I've given out my drug cycles. Yes, mine weren't high, but I think Boston, from what I've seen, towards the end, I know he realised all that shit he was taking. He should have just taken small doses, but I've always given out my cycles, so that makes me just as bad as him. But I like Boston. I've never told anyone to do it. He never told anyone. He just wanted people to know what he was doing. Like he was an experiment to his body. Like I think Tony huge experiments on his body, but Tony actually gives it to other people and fucking.
Well, I think the problem is, and what John was saying, so. the irresponsibility with it is. I just think John was
a bit harsh on Boston. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the irresponsibility of it is that people will copy. You know, like when I get Milos on and we argue about insulin, and he talks
That's like trying to blame Trump for the fucking January 6th riots. You can't blame other people's fucking stupidity on one person. They're fucking idiots.
No,
how many people have gone out and tied their cock to the coffee table because they fucking said it? Hey, Jimmy just joined us.
Oh, he did. Just in time. Coffee talk, coffee table talk time. What's up, Jim?
I just think John was a bit harsh on Boston. That's what I'm saying. It's like I understand what you're saying, but
but I think what he clarified on the last show is that he liked Boston. I mean, Boston used to come over, you know, and he was in the studio when we all were up in New York, and John liked him. It was just he felt that what his message that he was delivering was not necessarily something that was.
Well, I don't think he was delivering a message. He was just saying, "This is what I do."
Right, but you know what? But kids follow that shit, Lee. Come on, you can't help it. People are dumb. They like to follow stupid fucking shit.
Well, we can't blame Boston for other people's stupidity.
No, we can't. But what he was saying is he was irresponsible in what he was saying out there. That's all.
Well, we're all irresponsible when we take shit and train. It's like it's an irresponsible fucking sport. Hey, Jimmy, how you going, mate?
I get called a fucking idiot all the time. You know,
Jimmy, I would never call you a fucking idiot.
Some guy just on Instagram said I got to be a complete moron if I believe the flat Earth. So I texted him back and I said I was nice to him, you know. Oh, then he said no offense. I said wait a minute, so you called me a fucking idiot, but then on the other hand, you tell me no offense. You just called me a fucking idiot, but now you tell me no offense.
Did you say no offense? Did you say no offense taken, you cunt?
No, I was nice. He's probably a nice guy. I just texted back. I said, well, if that's all you got to call me, I said I'm having a good day. You know, if you just call me a fucking idiot.
Jimmy. Now, Jimmy, I was just telling Dave before we come on that I sent you the photos of proof of my operation, my blood.
Oh,
Oh, you got the bloody penis pictures, Jimmy?
Oh my God, I almost fell off the fucking chair, man.
How scary is that?
You know, I did notice one thing though, Lee, in that photo. You know, with all the blood, the swollen cock, and all that shit there. You could have shaved a little bit in the photo, bro. You know what I mean?
Mate,
you know,
I just go El Natural. El Natural.
You know, a nice clean shave would have been nice and appropriate.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Next time I'll make sure I shave it up.
Jimmy, when you think about it, Lee's the only person who would send a dick pic to another guy when he's bloody and looks like someone just massacred his penis. You know, that tells you that he doesn't really give a shit about what anyone thinks about him. You know,
I gotta say I've never seen a cock like that. I'm gonna actually go to Staples and I'm gonna blow it up and I'm gonna frame it because I got.
You're gonna put it on the wall behind you, next to your mother.
I'm gonna do an 8x10. Put it in the office.
You know what it looks like.
Along with this. I didn't frame this woman. I got to frame this one too.
Hey, look at that picture of Lee, Guardians of the Galaxy. And
I like that. That's great.
You know what it actually looked like? If you actually look at my cock in that picture with the needle in it, It actually looks like the scene out of Jaws with the harpoon in the side of the shark. It looks like a great white. My cock looks like a great white shark.
Yeah. Lee, you have to sign it. You have to sign it for Jimmy, though. You imagine every time we go on the air, we have your.
Yeah, I will. You know what it actually looks like when I think about it? It looks like I just blew up the World Trade Center and I went up to wherever and I just fucked 72 virgins. That's what it looks like.
Oh my God. I tell you, Dave mentioned that on the show yesterday that, you sent them those pictures, right, Lee?
Yeah.
So he said he was horrified, right? So I think, I always think Dave over-exaggerates a little bit,
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you.
But when you sent those pictures to me last night, I said, holy shit, no wonder why Dave's having fucking nightmares. You know what I'm saying? I never seen anything like it. I wish we could actually show it on the show, but I think it's like too much.
No,
you know?
What about the bruising in the groin? That bruising in the groin area.
That was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the lower intestine area? Was that what that was?
Yeah, that was like just below your belly button. That's where they put the two big needles in. The two big needles to numb me did all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it from your cock blowing up? That was from the injections That was from the... No, really, seriously.
Valentino's arms blew up. Lee Priest's penis blew up. I mean, why
even... The man
with the exploding penis. That's going to be your next video, Lee.
Wasn't he like the man
with the exploding arms?
Exploded?
The man with the exploding arms.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm gonna have the man whose cock exploded.
The man.
So what did you inject? Vandyl sulfate? Your cock? What was the thing
that
you?
The Cavaject. The Cavaject. I think
he injected Vandyl sulfate. He put insulin in his penis, Jimmy, and it just he thought it was going to grow.
No, the guys.
You know us Italians, we always make up our own fucking words. You know.
Pasta Mazul. He put some pasta Mazul in the penis. Yeah.
Applebee's. When I was with my kids, I used to go, "Come on, let's go to Bumblebee's." They're like, "Dad, it's Applebee's, not Bumblebee's." That's the same fucking thing.
I do the same thing. I guess I'm getting old too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, though, Jimmy, because I was a bit off my head, and you only meant to take this much, but he gave me like this much, saying, "Because you're bigger, you need more." But by that point, because I was off my head and it was going soft, I think I'd already taken free Viagra before I did the injection.
Oh my God! Holy shit!
So it's actually an injection. It's not the.
Yeah, you got to inject it.
It's not like cocaine. Penis. I used to take cocaine and put it in the head of my penis, and because I was like, I would. Well, what happens is when you're fucking, and if you were like, years ago.
This is like irresponsible Boston Light information, yeah. But go ahead, Jimmy.
No, this is nothing bad actually. I wasn't doing the cocaine. I bought the cocaine so I could put it in my cock hole. All right, that's Right.
I think some of it gets absorbed, but
yeah, maybe a little bit, but by the time it goes through your cock and your balls, you're not really getting too much.
But the main thing is
it keeps the head. Well, the thing is, it keeps your cock head numb, so you could fucking go a little longer because the cock is numb, And then once in a while, put a rail on the head, and the girl liked to snort it off the cock. It was exciting. It was exciting. It's just like doing bumps off her ass.
Lee, the scary part is there's some girl out there watching this show now and saying, I snorted a rail off Jimmy's penis, and he's talking about it right now.
What about shelving it,
I used to do sometimes little mountain tops on the top of my penis. It's just goes so much stuff.
Did you ever shelve it? Did you ever put it up your bum?
Not me. I used to do it to her. So if I was going to do a little anal sex, I would just, I would cap a little.
Story.
I would cap a little off, and I would just rub it around the a-hole a little like that, give her a couple of minutes, and I was able to fucking go right in there.
I got a new story. I got a new story you'd never heard before. I got a new story. It just came to me.
Oh no, not another one.
I was doing coke one night, right? This was a long time ago, and I was drinking vodka. And I'm the opposite. When I start drinking vodka, I can't taste it. But the drunker I get, the more I taste it. I was getting into it, like nearly all the bottles gone. There's a little bit down the bottom like this. And I'm trying to drink it, and I'm like, So I thought, fuck, how am I going to get into myself? So I laid on the floor, put my legs up, put the vodka bottle in my asshole, and poured it up my ass.
Oh, my God.
Hold on. What made you decide to do that? Who gave you that idea?
Because my wife told me there was this guy there was this guy who had bad fucking liver and shit and blah, blah, blah. He was dying and he was an alcoholic, but they said he couldn't drink anymore. So he discovered putting the alcohol up his ass, doing it that way. It went in quicker, but the only problem was he'd done too much and he put a whole bottle in there and it actually killed him because it was that toxic because it didn't get broken down.
Right, it goes right into the bloodstream, yeah.
Yeah, so I only had a little bit. And when my wife seen that, she's like, are you a fucking idiot? I told you that guy killed himself. I said, but I only had a couple of shots.
Lee, let me ask you a question. A very important question. Was this before or after the Caverject incident?
After.
He didn't learn his lesson, Jimmy. He was in the hospital with needles sticking out of his penis, and yet he went and stuck a bottle in his ass.
That could have been a funny story. Hey, Dave, did I tell you this time I had to go to hospital with a vodka bottle stuck in my ass?
Well, people have gone to the hospital worse up their ass, Lee. That's not fair, the vodka bottle. You know what I'm saying? You know, I used to have this girl. She used to jerk me over. When I used to go to the horse stable years ago, I used to get the... I think I told you that story, Dave, right?
We're disintegrating rapidly. You got to tell the story. Tell the story.
How did you start the show, Dave? What did you say about the show when you started?
It was so clean when we started. It was so pure when we started. And then Jimmy joined
until I got here, right?
Yeah.
No, Lee started with those fucking photos last night. I still got it in my mind.
Yeah, he traumatized Jimmy.
They were for medical purposes only. You're taking it down the gutter, Jimmy. I was trying to think.
Yeah, but you know what it is,
Lee, the difference is that you can show it to me. I'll be like traumatized for 10 seconds and I'll tell people, but Jimmy will keep looking at them and watching them and analyzing them, saying, wait a minute, what's this little spot here from?
Jimmy's got his flat earth pictures and my cock pictures. He's like, oh, fuck flat earth. I can't believe it.
Yeah, this is way more interesting, right?
No, I got to tell you, the cock, it just started bringing back, the old, the memories, the old, all the fucking wild shit I did. That's what the cock did. It just brought me back. You know what I mean? I went right back to the horse stable with that fucking girl when I used to go. I used to go visit her.
That's it. I take that as a compliment. When you saw my cock, it made you think of the horse.
Yeah, I instantly went right to the horse stable because this girl used to make me this concoction because I used to have a lot of pain in my elbows from all the benching and all that shit. And she used to do DMSO and then some other liquid, Dave, that she put in there.
Horse semen.
Huh? No, that came later. So, she would make this concoction for me. DMSO, right, Dave? That's the
dimethyl sulfoxide.
Oh, that's what she did. It was DMSO and Bute. Now, Bute was a horse pill. It's about fucking... And she used to crush up the horse pill, right? I used to go there late at night because she wasn't allowed to really take any medicine out of it. It's for the horses, So I used to go there like 11, 12 at night in the summer, And she used to make this thing for me in a jar. She used to take the fucking horse aspirin and the DSO, crush it up and make this like mixture for me. And I could put it on my elbow, my shoulder, whatever, But then the trade-off was I had to fuck her. So, I used to fuck her in the horse stable with the horses, and sometimes she'd grab the horse cock. That's what I thought about with your picture, And then she used to fucking jerk me off for fucking like an hour straight, just like a fucking and I'd be like, and then the next day, my cock would be swollen and my head would look very small because she jerked me off so rapidly. It looked like your dick without the blood. That's what it looked like.
That's how my dick looked the very first time I masturbated. I choked the fuck out of it like that. I showed my grandfather thinking I'd done something to it. My grandfather's, what happened? I said, I fell over in the shower and it's all swollen up. He's probably thinking, yeah, you just discovered masturbation, you little bastard.
I don't know what it is, Dave. Like back in the day, you talk about Boys and Law, listen, I don't promote it, but I did shit back in the day too. But I tell you, when I was, my late 20s and 30s, man, you're out of your. I was out of my mind on that shit, man.
I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe.
I was like a fucking animal. I just wanted to train and fuck, and make mayhem.
I saw those photos of your little shirts and your big gold chains and shit you're wearing back then, like your fucking. Jimmy and his Mr. T starters kit. I saw it.
I was bad. I was very bad.
Jimmy, I always wanted to ask you this question on the show. I'm going to ask you now. If you had to do it over, if you had to go back in time, okay, and you could change the course of what you did. Number one, would you change it? And even if you wouldn't, what would you do differently if you were going to change it? Like, what path would you take? Would you go to college? Would you do something different?
Me,
No,
Lee,
Jimmy. Jimmy first.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
I gotta say, the other day my brother texted me and he was telling me about his back and his neck and all this, and I happen to be in a really pissed fucking bad mood, So when he texted me, so I read the text, and I'm gonna get to I'm gonna get to your question, and so I was, I was in my mode, so I text back. I said, really? I says, my back, my neck, I'm going fucking blind. I'm constipated. My fucking cock, I can't even get hard anymore. I said, the Jimmy the Iron Bull busted up, fucking broke all this. I made a list like this, right? He didn't even respond, my brother, right?
Yeah.
So he called, he texted back and says, I guess you're having a bad day, So, back to your question is that I should have stayed in the fucking Marine Corps, Dave.
Okay.
I should have did the 20-year stitch,
Right.
When I was at boot camp, I should have went right to DI school. And right after that, I would have did a 2-year duty station in Paris Island. Came out, did my tour, and then came out, and I could have joined the police department at that time and did another 20, and I would have been retired and done with 2 fucking benches. Stupid, But
sure. Oh, by the way, you know why you're constipated?
Yeah.
Because you got a shelf full of Fiberlize that you're not using back there. That's why.
No, I use it. That's my storage.
You're not using enough of it, obviously. You've had
Hey,
that.
Jimmy,
That wall has not gotten diminished at all. Look at Lee's stack has gotten way smaller. Yeah.
And Jimmy,
all right, next show we'll see.
And Jimmy, you just said your cock doesn't get hard. I got a remedy for that.
Well, it does get hard. I can't keep it hard. Lee, it gets hard.
You got to use some Caverjack. That's all.
That's the.
Lee's got a good protocol for you.
That's the
girl's
fault.
It's like a fucking M80 fuse. Like I got a huge explosion here, but the fuse is like and then boom.
That's her fault because she. That's her fault because you're doing it from behind. Then when she turns her head, you see that face. You go, "Where fuck?"
I don't know what it is, man.
If I had to do it all over again, I'm similar to Jimmy. I always said I would have kept training, but the competing side I mightn't have done. But I would have liked to been in the military or the police force. I just like that sort of regimented type of, discipline type stuff.
You would have been a good cop, Lee. Definitely, man. I could see you being a cop.
He would have been a good gymnast too. He should have stuck with gymnastics.
Jimmy and I will be going in because you see Jimmy and I as partners on the police force. Big cocaine bust, 100 kilos. Get it, Jimmy. Get on the cash. The sergeant comes up. What happened? Jimmy and I, we just broke in here. We found 40 kilos of coke.
Meanwhile,
Jimmy,
it was
put the other 60. Put the other 60 in the trunk, Jimmy. And we'll tell the criminals, listen, 100 kilos, you're going away for a long time. Shut your mouth. We're going to say you got 40, okay? That's.
Yeah, we'd be pulling guys out of cars, dragging them down a dark alley, beating the shit out of them.
Jimmy should have been a rock star in a band, travel the world, getting high, banging girls, long hair, and if his hair fell out, he put a wig on, and just, you play guitar, you got the natural, you probably were a rock star in a previous life, you just don't fucking remember, that's all.
Yeah, you're probably right, Dave.
Backstage.
That's a nice vision, though. I got to say, that's a nice vision. I like that. I like that a little better.
Jimmy on stage,
you could have played some keyboard, some guitar, everything.
Yeah. Even the drums. I got to play the drums for you. I play those too.
Do you?
Sam Ash show. Yeah, I play Sam Ash. I go to Sam Ash all the time, and I play the drums over there. I'll have to record it, send it to Tyler.
Yeah. I haven't seen you do that.
Jimmy backstage. Jimmy with all the groupies drinking, doing blow off.
Yeah.
I'd be like fucking Gene Simmons, Lee.
Actually, they just came to Australia yesterday. They're on the news. They're here yet. They just flew in yesterday for some big concerts in Australia. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, him and Paul Stanley and that. They're in Australia. Wow. They love it here, they said. They love it.
You remember Lemmy from Motorhead?
I remember Motorhead. I remember some of their songs.
Didn't he pass away?
Yeah, he just died. He was very good friends with Triple H. He wrote Triple H's walkout tune, "I Am the Game." You know that song?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were friends, and Triple H told me that Lemmy was a rock star through and through. You know how like guys, like when they get a little older, these rock guys, they kind of like mellow out. They just did. Lemmy was still fucking drinking like a fucking fish, snorting coke, fucking banging chicks up until the day he died. He was a miracle. They said the doctors didn't know how he had no health problems, you know, and I think he just dropped dead one day. That's what it was. But I mean, the guy was pretty old for the life he lived. He never ever stopped. He just went all out. That was his fucking who he was, and he was true to that, you know.
Yeah, some guys can't, they can't change. That's it.
He didn't want to. He smoked. He did everything, you know, and he just didn't care. Yeah. And he was still doing music right up to the end. That's the great thing about musicians. Most musicians can continue doing it right into old age. They don't like, you know, they might lose their voice a little bit, but if they play guitar or something like that, that's a skill you don't lose. You know, it's great.
What's that guy's name? He's in the Rock. He played. I can picture him. He played Johnny Depp's father on Pirates of the Caribbean. What's his name?
Oh, I don't.
He's still going. He's like old. He's a famous rock star. He does so many drugs.
Sting? No, Sting, is it?
No, it was in the Pirates of the Caribbean. He looks really old, like a pirate. What's his name?
You're not talking about the guy from Rolling Stones. What's his name? He played the father. He was
who?
Johnny Depp's father in the
yeah. And he looks like a pirate almost.
That's that Mick Jagger's guitar player. What's his name? Fucking shit. Hey, what's his name there? The guy from the Rolling Stones.
Tyler, look
Keith
at
Richards?
Richards.
Yeah, Keith Richards, yeah. Look at him. How many fucking drugs he's doing?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing he's alive still. Yeah, exactly.
Fucking losing my memory over here.
I wanted to rage today about, I was going to rage about people, because we get a lot of stuff where people won't stick to programs, but then I get a lot of time these people saying, what program's the best? This or that, what exercise the best? And I try to tell them, there is no fucking best. Lee, what should I do? Lee, can I change up my program? How long you been on the program? A week? Or should
I... I gotta be honest with you, Lee, about the training. You know what I mean? It's like martial arts or anything else, or like, it's really all about the individual, what works for you. That's really the bottom line.
That's what I tell people. When they say to me, what's the best? I say, there is no best. I could say for me, barbell curl is the best for me, but Jimmy might go, Lee, I like barbell, but I feel dumbbell better. I get a better squeeze on dumbbell. So
right, but you know what, Lee, though? People don't want to hear that you have to deadlift every week, you have to squat every week, you have to bench press every week. It's a bore. People get bored very easily. But the truth is that bodybuilding is boring. It's doing the same fucking thing over and over and over again and getting better and better and better. There is no variation. It's not one of these things where you're going to find a new video game. Oh, we got the 2.0 version coming out now. You're going to play that. No, it's the fucking same thing. You're trying to increase your strength. Why would you not squat if you want bigger legs? You don't go to a leg extension machine or an in or out of thigh machine thinking it's going to do the same thing because you're bored of squatting. You got to squat. That's what it is. Training is boring. We love it because we see the results that we get from it, and that's why we do it.
We love it.
So you could add things to that, Dave. You could keep the squat as the core,
right?
And then you could throw, different things.
Right, but what I'm saying is that people don't want to do the hard exercises, Jimmy. They don't want to get under the bench press. They don't want to get under the squat bar. They don't want to deadlift off the floor. It hurts too much. They want to do the machines. They want Lee to give them a routine where they got 14 machines to do. 2 sets on each machine, 600 reps. And then they get to go home. No. It's nice and easy. It's comfortable. They can put their phone in the little cup holder, and they can watch the thing while they're doing their rows. That's what they want now, Jimmy.
I know. I mean, like when we were all younger, we trained very hard, and I always did my basic core exercise. Flat bench.
Yeah.
When I did back, I always did. I did good mornings. I used to love those good mornings and deadlifts with the split machine. But then I would throw other things. I would break it up. I would throw other things on top of it. I always would do the core exercises with the free weights. That's what I was all about. But it always hurt. I always pushed the envelope. Where I was in pain.
But that's what built the muscle. That's what built the muscle. It was those basic free weight movements.
Speaking of envelopes, I got this. I got to fill it out. I got to fill out all this info because in the mail yesterday. This is how you know you're getting old. I was just offered doctor's information and stuff and my information. I got to fill it out because once you get 50, the government here is nice enough to send you your free home poke your poo bowel cancer kit.
What are they
The
going to
bowel
check?
cancer kit.
So for stool, they do a stool sample. So you got to
Yeah, so I
shit.
gotta
You got to
do-
shit in that little envelope there, Lee.
Yeah, you just shit. Wonder what would happen if you just shit in the envelope and sent the envelope back with shit in it.
Really?
Lee, maybe
No,
you
there's
should.
actually a
Maybe
kit.
you should film the whole process of you collecting your poop to put in that envelope.
There's a kit. I think it says
Yeah,
you
send
got
me the video, Lee.
to go. You can watch it straight after the cock pictures.
Yeah.
Now what it is you get a little thing. I think you got to poo on paper.
That looks like a lifesaver, Lee, on the side of that roll.
Can you imagine Lee shitting on a piece of paper trying to get a stool sample on there? What
And
if
then
you have
you gotta
diarrhea,
stick
Lee?
You got to stick this thing in it and then put it in a thing and seal it all up and send it to them. But what I should do is, for video content, the 15th to the 21st of December when Jimmy and I are in Vegas, I should have Jimmy in a white coat do my poo test for me.
Yeah, after we get married.
Yeah, Lee, but you know what the problem? Lee, the problem with that is that when you go back to Australia and you go through customs, they're going to take your shit away from you because they don't want any. They don't let you bring anything into Australia.
And
right?
I'll say to them, you're not taking my shit.
Yeah, you could bring some foreign, disease into
That's
the country.
right, that's
You
right.
don't know.
And
Well,
on
what
that
I'll do
shit,
is,
and on
Jimmy-
that shitty note, I got to wrap this up. Lee,
Hey, Jimmy, what I'll do is I'll do this at home, but when we go to Vegas and we get married, we can still pretend, okay? You can pretend you're giving me like a prostate exam or something.
I could wear one of those little condoms on the finger that they use when they check your prostate, right?
I don't even
Jimmy,
got the extension
whatever
on
you
it,
do,
Jimmy.
hold on,
I don't
wait,
even-
Jimmy,
I'll even
whatever
wear
you
the fucking mine. I'll even wear the mining hat.
Hold on, Jimmy.
With the little. with
Jimmy,
the- yeah.
when you do it, can you please put a little cocaine on your tip of your finger, to numb it a little bit?
Yeah.
Look, this is good.
Good
Look,
idea, Dave.
Stimuli.
Oh yeah.
Stimuli.
Perfect.
I think the stimuli gave you some psychotic thoughts today. Actually, to be honest with you.
It made me think about the vodka bottle up my arm.
There you go, Jimmy. Take some Fiberlize, please, and go to the bathroom and let us know you're in the
I
morning.
will.
No,
will.
I don't want to see you in the emergency room with backed up waste
Look at
products.
this for a commercial.
I
Look at
haven't
this
been
for a
at the VA
commercial.
lately, thank God. I've
right,
been
good.
VA free for a while.
All right.
Look at this
I got to wrap the show up.
commercial, look.
We got to go home.
Hello.
I'm getting a little.
Commercial.
You look like Ronnie Coleman. Remember when Ronnie used to come out and do this? When he come out,
Oh,
yeah.
Raise the
Sure do it
roof.
now.
The roof's on fire. The roof's on fire. Get the fuck out of the building.
All right.
But Dave, at the beginning of this show, you did say this show was going to be debauchery and whatever else you said.
Yes,
And go down.
it's going to go into the toilet. I knew it would.
Careful. Oh, into the toilet. Thanks for reminding me. Check your colon and bowel cancer screening
go.
kit.
Lee, because you're using Fiberlize, your colon is going to be beautifully clean. I promise you. So. All right,
That's how
we're
you know
wrapping
you get
things
old,
up.
when-
Until next week, I'm Dave Palumbo with Jimmy the Bull and Lee Priest. Have a great week.
And remember, be kind to your horses.